Okay, this is practice test number 10, and this is section 4, so you are allowed to use a calculator. And I haven't looked at these questions before, so hopefully I can get through them. A helicopter hovering 40 feet above the ground begins to gain altitude at a rate of 21 feet per second. Which of the following represents their altitude above the ground? So we want slope-intercept form, so they're starting at a height of 40 and they are gaining altitude at 21 feet per second. So number 1 is B. Number 2, a text messaging plan charges a flat fee of $5 per month for up to 100 text messages and an additional 25 cents for each additional text message. Which of the following represents the cost? So it needs to be A or B because it's $5 for the first 100 and then it's an additional 25 cents. So your cost should go up after 100 text messages. So 2 is A. Number 3, Jake buys a bag of popcorn at the movie theater. He eats half of it during the 15 minutes of previews. After eating half of the popcorn, he stops for the next 30 minutes. Then he gradually eats the popcorn until he accidentally spills all of the remaining popcorn. So he eats half the bag in the first 15 minutes. We definitely don't want choice B, right? That's going up. He eats half in the first 15 minutes. Then he stops for the next 30. Then he gradually eats the rest and spills the rest on the floor. So this looks like the best answer because this, he eats it, stops, eats it, and then he gets more. Eats it, stops, gradually eats it, drops it. Eats it, stops. Somehow he gets more popcorn. So it looks like 3 is B. Number 4. This looks like we have to solve for x and then find the value of 3x. So 20 would equal x plus 15 if I add x to the other side. Subtract 15, so x has to be 5. So 3x would have to be 15, which is choice C. 4 is C. 5. What is the value of f of negative 1? We plug in negative 1 for x. We get 2 divided by 2, which is 1, and 5 is C. Number 6. Simplify the expression, so we'd get 2x cubed minus 6x squared. 2x cubed minus 6x squared, 6 is D. 7, a retail company has 50 large stores in different areas. A researcher believes the employee job satisfaction varies greatly from store to store. Which of the following sample methods is most appropriate to estimate the proportion of all employees who are satisfied? Select one of the 50 stores at random. Select 10 employees from each store at random. Survey the 25 highest paid employees and the 25 lowest paid employees. Create a website where employees can express their opinions. So the best choice would be B. You're selecting randomly the 10 employees from each store. 8. Two graphs show the total amounts of money Ian and Jeremy have each deposited for the first 7 weeks. After they made their initial deposit, how much more did Ian deposit each week than Jeremy? It looks like, who is this? Jeremy looks like he's depositing, what, $50 each week? Because in 2 weeks he deposited 100. So Jeremy's 50. Ian is depositing, it looks like $100 each week. So how much more does Ian deposit each week? So he must deposit $50 more each week. So 8 is C. Here's my function. What is 8 to the 5 minus h of 3? So I'm doing 2 to the 5th minus 2 cubed. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. 32 minus 8 is 24. So 9 is C. Number 10. Research showed a random sample of students from a large university, how often they see movies. Using the sample data, estimated 23% of the students in the population saw a movie at least once per month. The margin of error is 4%. Which of the following is most appropriate about the students based on the given estimate and margin of error? So it is unlikely that less than 23% of the students see a movie, at least 23%, but no more than 25% of the students see a movie. At least researcher is between 19% and 27% sure. It is plausible that the percentage of students who see a movie at least once per month is between 19 and 27%. I would say D, and that is the right answer because it's the 23% that see the movie at least once per month, plus or minus the sample of error, which is 4%. So 27, 19, once per month. So 10 is D. Number 11. The table shows two lists of numbers. Which of the following is a true statement comparing list A and B? The means are the same, standard deviation is different. The means are the same, standard deviation is the same. All right, so we should find the mean, right? So I'm adding up these 6 numbers and dividing by 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21 divided by 6 is 3.5. 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 is also 21 divided by 6 is 3.5. So the means are the same. So not those. The standard deviations are different. Will the standard deviation be the same or different? They must be different because if the mean is 3.5, right, a standard deviation is, how far away from the mean you are. This one went all the way down to 1. This one only went down to 2. The standard deviation is further on this one, and it'd be closer to the mean on this one. So the standard deviations are different. So 11 is A. A book was on sale for 40% off its original price. If the sale price was $18, what was the original price of the book? My original price is going to be X dollars. It was on sale for 40% off, so I sold it for 60% of the original price, and that was equal to 18. So I could take 18 and divide by 0.6. So the original price must have been $30. 12 is C. 13. 3 colonies of insects were each treated with different pesticide. A, B, and C were treated with pesticides A, B, and C respectively. Each pesticide was applied every 2 weeks. The graph shows the insect count for each of the 3 colonies 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks after. Which of the following colonies showed a decrease in size every 2 weeks? All right, so if I just look at colony A, it had a decrease, 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 decrease. Yes. If I look at colony B, decrease. Yeah, that's still decreased. Okay. Colony C looks like it goes up. So colony C is a no. So it should be 13 is C, 1 and 2 only. Of the following, which is closest to the ratio of the total number of insects in all 3 colonies in week 8 to the total number of colonies at the time of initial treatment? So we want the ratio week 8 to initial. So week 8 to initial population. What do we have about, let's say we had 18, 10, and 50. 50, 60, 70, 80, let's say, is our week 8 amount. What do we have here? 80. This one's about 60. We'll call this one about 70. 150, 210. Mm, so which of those is the same? 2 to 5, 80 to 210. 80 to 210 is pretty close to 2 to 5. So 14 is A. I just did 2 to 5 and 80 to 210. That came out the closest. So I must have been off a little bit in my estimating of the initial population. All right, number 15, a right circular cone has a volume of 24 pi cubic inches. The height of the cone is 2 inches, so what is the radius of the base? So a right circular cone is just like a pyramid, 1/3, and then pi r squared is the area of the base times the height. Because if this was a cylinder, it would be just pi r squared times the height. I actually think at the beginning of the test, they give you, oh, I might not have copied it on here. Hey, look, they gave you the formula right on the front page, 1/3 pi r squared h. So that's there for you if you know it's there. All right. So its overall volume is 24 pi. The height is 2. What is the radius of the base? So what can we cancel out here? I'm going to cancel out my pi, divide both sides by pi. So then I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So I get r squared equals, so what is 24 times 3 is 72. And if I take the square root of both sides, 36 times 2, 6 root 2 is not my answer. Oops, you couldn't see this, and I made a mistake anyway at this step. So hold on. Let me go back and rewrite this. So I had, under it up here, 1/3 pi r squared h equals 24 pi. I forgot that I had written a 2 right there. So my first step is to cancel out this pi with this pi, and I can divide by 2 on both sides. So I'd have 1/3 r squared equals 12. Now I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So I get r squared equals 36. So r is 6. So 15 is B. 16. In 2015, the population of city X and Y were equal. The population of city X increased by 20%. The population of city Y decreased. If the population of city X was that much, what's the population of city Y in 2010? Well, they were both equal, right? And this is between 2010 and 2015. So they're telling me the initial population then, wait, oh, in 2015 they're equal. Okay, so I have to go, I need to take city X is currently 120,000 in 2010. This is city X. I want to know city-wise population then. City X increased by 20%. And in 2015, they're equal. So if I go up by 20%, I'm going to take 120,000 times 1.2, because that's 100 and 20%. So 144,000 is the population of city Y in 2015. And it says city Y decreased by 10%. So this population times 0.90, because that would be a decrease in 10%, gives me 144,000. So I'm going to take 144,000 and divide by 0.9, get X. So it must have started at 160,000. So 16 is C. Volume of a sphere, okay, which gives the radius in terms of the volume. So I need to solve this equation to get R by itself. So my first step is to divide by pi and multiply by the reciprocal 3/4. So I would get 3v over 4 pi. And it looks like already I've kind of eliminated some of my choices here, so that's good. So I have that equals r cubed. So my last step would be to take the cube root of both sides. So the cube root of 3v over 4 pi, 17 is D. 18. The table above shows the results in a survey. Tablet users were asked how often they would watch video advertisements to access streaming content for free. Based on the table, which of the following is closest to the probability that a tablet user always answered always, given the tablet user did not answer never? Okay, so the tablet user did not answer never. They want the probability that the tablet user answered always. So they answered always as their choice, but we only want to add up the always, the often, or the rarely as our other choices, not the never. So if I add up the 24.3, 13.5, and 30.9, I get 68.7 and 30.9. So I take 30.9 and divide by 68.7, and that would round up to 45%. So 18 is C. When the equation above A is a constant, the graph of the equation is a parabola. Which of the following is true? Its minimum, no, this is a concave down parabola, so I know that it has a maximum. Its maximum will occur at right 3 up A. So 3 comma A is its maximum. So 19 is D. The maximum value of a data set consisting of 25 positive integers is 84. That's the maximum. A new data set consisting of 26 positive integers is created by including 96 in the original data set. Which of the following measures must be 12 greater? It's got to be the range, right? Because we had a set of data that ended at 84. Our new set of data now ends at 96. We didn't change this lowest value at all. So the range just went up by 12 because we changed the maximum value and moved it 12 points. So 20 is C. Noticing a lot of stats and probability questions in this set of questions. Clayton will mix X milliliters of a 10% by mass saline solution with Y milliliters of 20% by mass saline solution in order to create 18% by mass saline solution. The equation above represents this situation. If Clayton uses 100 milliliters of the 20%, that's this one, 100 milliliters here, right? Because it originally was Y milliliters. So we're letting Y be 100. How many milliliters of the 10% solution must he use? So let's simplify our equation. We've got 0.1x plus, we're just taking 100 and multiplying by 0.2. So that's just going to be 20y equals 0.18x plus 18, right? Because I'm doing, this number is not y anymore. Oh, shoot. This y is gone. This was 0.2 times 100 is 20. This is 0.18 times 100 is 18. So let's combine like terms. I'm going to subtract the 0.1x to the other side. So that will leave me with 0.08x, and I'm going to subtract 18 to the other side. So I get 2 equals 0.08. So x has to be 25, which is B. 21 is B. The first year, Eleanor organized a fundraising event. She invited 30 people. For each of the next 5 years, she invited double the number of people she had invited the previous year. If n is the number of people invited, n years after, which is the function? It is going to be, she's doubling, so that's an exponential function, and it's going to be increasing because she's inviting more and more people each year, so 22 is D. Some values of x and their corresponding y values are shown. This is a linear relationship. What is the equation to represent the relationship? So it looks like our y-intercept is, oh no, that's not our y-intercept because that would have to be 0. I think I might look at my answers and see if any of them make sense. Better, I guess I could try to find the slope, but let's just see. If I take x and I add 2y, I get a for this first one. Let's see if it works here. If I take x and I add 2 of these, I also get a, still works. If I take x and I add 2 of these, I would get a. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say 23 is a. That is the right answer. Let me give you an example of one that wouldn't work. If I took, these are like x comma y values. So let's say if I took this x value and I added 2 of these, so a plus 0, I don't get 5a. I would just get a. So see how b doesn't work? So I think you'd use process of elimination for that one. 24. The scatter plot shows the number of registered voters and the number of people who voted in the last election. A line of best fit is shown, which could be the equation of the line. I can tell you the slope, but this is not the y-intercept. We're going to need to calculate the y-intercept. It looks like pick 2 points that are kind of close. If this is the line of best fit, they're saying that up 10 over 20, 10 over 20. So the slope is a half, positive a half. So I think by process of elimination, y equals 1/2 x has to be our answer because that is the only slope that makes sense. B. System of equations is graphed. What is the intersection point? So we need to solve this system of equations. It looks like it is set up for us to do elimination, and I need to multiply the bottom equation through by 3. So 3 times 1.6. 4.8x plus 1.5y equals negative 3.9. In my other equation, I'm going to keep the same. 2.4x minus 1.5y equals 0.3. Gone. So I have 4.8 plus 2.4. I have 7.2x equals negative 3.6 divided by 7.2 is negative 0.5, and that is x. And fortunately, they wanted the x coordinate. So it looks like 25 is A. 26. Keith modeled the growth over several hundred years of a tree population by estimating the number of the tree's pollen grains per square centimeter that were deposited each year within layers of the lake sediment. He estimated there were 310 grains in the first year with a 1% annual increase. Which of the following models the number of pollen grains per square centimeter T years? So initially there's 310. We're increasing by 1%. So 1.01 is 101% to the T years. So it looks like that's choice D. Based on the equation, what's the value of 3x minus 2? So I need to solve for x. Looks like 2/3 of 9x would be 6x minus 2/3 of -6 would be 4 equals 9x minus 6. That gives me 3x on this side. 6 equals 2. So that tells me x is 2/3. And I'm trying to find 3 times 2/3 minus 2. Well, I just realized that 0 is not an answer, but I realized I copied this problem wrong. There's another -4 on this side, isn't there? So this was really -8, and I'm adding 6. So I would really be at -2 at that step. So if x is -2/3, does that make any more sense? So then I would have a total of -4. So I say 27 is A, and that is the correct answer, -4. So in that case, it helped me that 0 wasn't my choice, because or else I probably wouldn't have gone back to catch that mistake. The function is defined above. If k is a positive integer, which could represent the value, could represent the graph? Oh, k is positive. Okay. They all need to have an intercept at -3. That one does. That one does not. Oh, and it's also concave up, right? Not concave up. Well, it's got to be this one because we've got our intercept at -3. Oops. Got our intercept at -3, and then we've got another intercept and it's concave up. So 28 must be D. 29. The formula can be used to approximate the height of an adult male based on the length of his femur. What is the meaning of 1.88 in this context? The approximate femur length in inch for a man? No. The approximate increase in a man's femur length in inches for each increase of 32 inches of height? No. The approximate increase in a man's femur length in inches for each 1 inch increase in his height. The approximate increase in a man's height in inches for each 1 inch increase in his femur length. 29, that's the last answer. The length of his femur is going up, so we multiply that times 1.88 to add on to the height, his overall height. Okay. 30. Here's a quadrilateral. AD is parallel to BC. CD is half of AB. What is the measure of angle B? Question mark. They're parallel. Okay. So in a quadrilateral, there are 360 degrees total. So that's the first thing. We've just used up 180 of those degrees. So we know that A plus B together adds up to the rest of the 180 degrees. And they're telling me that C to D here is half as long as A to B over here. So they want B. B is going to have to be so I might not have known to do this, but I read the explanation. When we create this perpendicular bisector, we can translate this half amount over here. So they're telling me that this is X, this is double X, and this is the relationship for a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So that tells me that this is my 30-degree angle from right triangle trig. This is my 60-degree angle, 30, 60, 90, right? Because the opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of 30 is a half. So if this part is 60 and this is now 90, B is 150. So I don't know how you would know to create that 30, 60, 90 relationship, because I clearly wasn't going for the right process in thinking about my 360 degrees. So that one seemed like a tricky one to me. Number 31. So Lynn had $8 to spend on apples and oranges. Apples cost 65 cents, oranges cost 75 cents. There's no tax. She buys 5 apples. What's the maximum number of whole oranges she can buy? She buys 5 apples at 65 cents each, and she had $8, right? $8 minus 5 times 65 cents. She has $4.75 each. So when I divide that by the 75-cent cost of the oranges, she can only buy 6 as her maximum. In the triangle above, A is 34. B plus C, we know that a triangle adds up to 180, so I take 180 and subtract 34. So B plus C must be 146. If the mean of the 5 numbers is 1600, what is the value of X? So we know that if we add all of these up, and divide by 5, we get 1600. So our first step is to multiply by 5. So I'm taking 1600, multiplying by 5, and then subtracting off 700 minus 1200 minus 1600 minus 2000. X must be 2500 as my answer for 33. Relationship between x and y can be written as y equals mx, where m is a constant. If y is 17 when x equals a, 17 equals m when x is a, what is the value of y when x is 2a? I see an m in both of these equations, so I'm just going to try solving both of these equations for m. M on this one would be 17 over a. If I divided a to the other side, m is 17 over a, and m on this one would be y divided by 2a. So now can I equate those two proportions to solve for y, I think? 17 over a equals y over 2a. Cross multiply. 34a equals y times a divided by a. Y must be 34, which is the answer. In the equation, a and b are constants. If the equation has infinitely many solutions, infinitely many, what is the value of b? Well, we know that a has to be 4 because we need to get 4x. Basically, we need the equation to come out the same. So a is 4. That gets us 4x plus 4b equals 4x plus 10. So b must be 2.5, so that 4 times 2.5 would get me 10. So 35 is 2.5. 36. In the plane, a line has the equation y equals c for some constant. It intersects a parabola at exactly 1 point. So if it's a horizontal line, it would normally intersect a parabola twice. The only point where it's going to intersect a parabola once is at its vertex. So we need to find the y value of the vertex of this parabola. So this parabola, I would need to do negative b over 2a. So my x value is 2.5, and I have to plug that back in for x squared. So 2.5 squared, take the opposite of 6.25 and add 5 times 2.5. I get 6.25 as my y value, and that is the correct answer for number 36. A falcon can reach speeds of 200 miles per hour while diving to catch prey. What is their maximum speed in feet per second? So 200 miles per hour. We need to get to feet. 5,280 feet per mile. So my miles cancel. And then 1 hour is 60 minutes. And 1 minute is 60 seconds. And my hours cancel, my minutes cancel, and I get feet per second. So I have to take 200 times 5,280 divided by 60, and then divided by 60 again. 293 and a round to the nearest whole number. 293 is what I got, which is the right answer. And number 38, the last one. If a falcon dove at its maximum speed for half a mile, seconds would the dive take to the nearest second? So wait, it can go 293 feet per second. How many seconds would the dive take? It is diving for half of a mile. All right, so 1 second, 293 feet. What's half a mile? 5,280 divided by 2. 5,280 divided by 2. It's going 2,640 feet. So divide that by 293 and you'll have your seconds. About 9 seconds, and 9 is the right answer.